Hello, this is Dr. Bob DeMaria with another half of health for you. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you have a man in your life, get him on the television right now so you can watch what we're going to be talking about. I've been blessed to have written several books. The most recent book that we released is Dr. Bob's Men's Health, The Basics. This is a very important book. It's a very easy read because there are millions of men today that have been diagnosed with cancer or other challenges in their prostate gland. We know the leading cause of death in America today happens to be heart disease. I know people are concerned about Alzheimer's and dementia. We'll have a very special guest tonight that's going to be talking about his challenges with prostate enlargement and some of the testing that he's had done to him and the huge reversal. But gentlemen, this is very serious. And I know that women are usually the ones that make the health decisions in a person's family. I also know that a good percentage of you men don't know what your cholesterol level is, don't even know what your blood pressure is. I'm sure that many of you don't take vitamin D, and you think, well, nothing's going to happen to me. Well, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but people die in their 40s of heart disease, heart attacks. I know that right now, and you watch stuff what's going on with television, the amount of testosterone in a man's life is lowering today. If you're 40 years old or over, you need to stay tuned to this. Pastor Richard, thank you first for
You're welcome.
taking time out of your busy life to join me. I know we're going to have a lot to talk about today. And talk to me about your experience in our practice. I know that one of my patients, you're a pastor, one of the parishioners from your church said to you, what did he say that make you come? You drive a great distance to come to our office.
Mm-hmm. Bill is the man you're talking about.
That's correct.
I think he's been seeing you for a long time. And I believe he's up in his 70s. And he seems to do pretty well, and his weight's really good. And one day he told me, stop eating sugar. He saw me in a restaurant with my wife, and I had all kinds of desserts. And
one of my proteges.
he said, that causes pain. You shouldn't eat that stuff. Well, I didn't really believe him, not then.
Of course not.
And time went by, and I've been having problems with my prostate being enlarged. And Bill had told me about you a few times, even gave me your card. And when the doctor told me I needed another biopsy, which would be a third one, I thought...
A biopsy of your prostate.
Of the prostate. I thought, there's got to be something better than this. And I remembered Bill talking about you. And so I sent you an email asking, can you do anything for someone with an enlarged prostate? And you said, yes. And I said, I'm going to have a biopsy done to my prostate December 1st. Should I wait till after that to come in? You said in another email, call my secretary, make an appointment now. So I did, and I'm really glad I did. Since then, which was around the last of November up till now, I've been seeing you twice a week, taking the supplements you told me to take, and those supplements and the chiropractic adjustments to my spine and the diet have all helped. I'm doing much better, and I guess I kind of owe it to Bill.
A couple of thoughts, because I think this is really important. Prostate challenges today are very common, and I actually gave you an article about PSA that I know made an impact on your life. And it's only been 2 months, so in the time frame, because somebody could be watching this anywhere in the future, so this is a 2-month time period.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's really significant also. So you're probably thinking, why is this guy telling me, this is my patient, your friend William, why would he, I mean, that was pretty bold for him to come up to you and say that.
Yes, it was.
I mean, out of the blue, you probably thought, well, you just get out. It's like if you're at a bar drinking alcohol and somebody comes up, you say, hey, that alcohol stuff is not good for you. The typical alcoholic would get upset.
Well, Bill and I go back quite a ways. I used to belong to the same church that he went to years ago when I was in my early 20s, and we got to know each other back then. And then as time went by, and I became pastor of the church in Valley City where I'm at, Bill came along. And so we got reacquainted, and I guess he just feels like he could tell me about anything. So.
Well, that's good because he possibly could have really saved your life. So let's talk about this whole prostate issue. For those of you that don't know, obviously the prostate's in the lower part of your body. And I'm going to throw something out to you too, Pastor Richard, that I haven't mentioned to you before. The prostate's in the lowest part of a man's body.
Mm-hmm.
Toxins go from above down, and they settle at the lowest part of a man's body. I have a lot of theories about what can happen with prostate and prostate disease, but I know there's a lot of reasons that it's going on. But I want to make one other point, is that I took the time to email you.
Yes.
Were you surprised that I emailed back?
I was.
Well, I take this very serious, and we don't play patty cake. So if you have a health challenge, you go to our website, you track me down. I'll do my very best to make a difference in your life. So let's talk about a common test today. It's called the PSA.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, the PSA test is not necessarily always a foolproof test
Right.
for someone to say that they have any kind of prostate issue. So talk to our audience about when you started having, what kind of symptoms did you have?
Well, at first, I was seeing my regular physician, and he did a digital exam, and he said, you have a slightly enlarged prostate, and he recommended a urologist. So I went there, he did the same exam, took the PSA, and wanted me to come back in a few months and check me again. And as time went by, my PSA count went higher, and that alarmed the doctor, and he said that I needed to have a prostate biopsy because I could possibly have cancer. And that's how it all started.
What was your first PSA level?
The very first was around 5, and they wanted to be 4 or lower. So it was around 5, and then it just started climbing up. And as it climbed up higher, then that's when I started having the biopsies done. I've had 2 of them done, but each time the biopsy didn't show any cancer, so praise God.
Okay, so let's talk about what your lifestyle was before BD, before BDB, before Dr. Bob. What was your life? What did you look like?
Well, physically, I weighed 167 pounds at one time, and that was mostly my stomach.
You had a big belly?
Yes, I can't gain weight up where I need it. And, but I started going on a diet before I came to you, which brought my weight down, but I didn't realize I was eating too much sweet stuff in that diet.
I think that's an important point you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people have this whole misconception. A lot of people think they go to the gym, they're healthy. So you changed your diet, but you didn't give up sugar.
I didn't give up sugar completely. It was in the fruit smoothies. I was eating pineapples and bananas every day in the fruit smoothie. I thought that was a good thing.
Did I tell you to stay away from those?
You told me to stay away from those.
Okay.
So I'm
Were you
allowed-
using yogurt with those
No,
too?
I didn't use yogurt. I was on a non-dairy diet, but I was using the fruit and the vegetables and all wheat products and
Using soy?
soy products, soy
Okay,
milk.
Can I stop for a minute?
Mm-hmm.
Soy stops sex in men over 40. That's a bold statement. I like to make bold statements, by the way. Soy puts too much estrogen in a man. We live in a society today that soy is everywhere in food, estrogen is everywhere in food, and in canned food. Soy, no man should put soy in his body. And the reason is it raises estrogen, which impacts the prostate. You
Yes.
learned that. Were you amazed by that?
I was amazed. I had no idea until you told me that. But you showed me that my body had estrogen in it, too much estrogen, and then you give me the supplements to reduce that.
Was that like none of these doctors, your regular doctors, had a clue about all this? I'm making a point because this is so serious.
They didn't know about this at all.
I know it's scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesus, for William.
Amen.
Okay, so you made these lifestyle changes, and then also pineapple. I don't believe anybody should use pineapple or bananas because it will cause inflammation in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And wheat, now this is so critically important. I might have shared this with you. Wheat depletes the body of zinc.
Yes.
Guess what your prostate gland needs?
Zinc.
Zinc. Hello, Betty. That was huge. Zinc is depleted by soy and wheat.
I didn't have any zinc in me when I came to you.
I know.
It was gone.
Did we do the zinc taste test?
Yes, and I still can't taste it.
You will. Okay. You know, Pastor Richard, we could put a seminar on what to do and what not to do. Okay, listen to this. In our office, we have something called the zinc taste test. It's zinc. It's a liquid zinc. If you go to one of my websites, it's called druglessdoctor.com. We talk about it in this book, Dr. Bob's Men's Health, The Basics. Have you read this book?
Almost all of it.
What do you think?
I think it's great. I think every man should have one.
I think every man in America should have one too. Maybe we should petition the government to make sure that everybody has one of these books. It's a good idea. Somebody that has any kind of pull out there, if you can make that happen, we could reduce the deficit with that book. Because how much money we would save. Because you know how many billions of dollars a year the prostate business is?
I don't know.
2 or 3 billion.
Oh.
That's a lot of money. Anyways, zinc taste test. What I did with Pastor Richard is I gave him some drops of a product and we asked him to taste it. He put it in his mouth for 10 seconds or so, and our goal is to get him to taste this. Now, this whole process that we're talking about to restore his health, it's not going to be throwing some dice and it's going to go away.
No.
It's going to take 2 years. But in 2 years from now, Pastor Richard's prostate's going to be functioning. He's going to have all of his parts. That's also important. So they put you on some medication, right?
At first, the doctor gave me Advidart.
What exactly is that?
That's a medicine to shrink the prostate. It did reduce the PSA level way down to 1 point something, very minimal. And my restroom trips were much better. But then I had a side effect with that I didn't like, and I told the doctor about it. He said, well, stop taking this then. And when I did, the PSA started going right back up. So that wasn't good.
And so then you made the wise choice to make a call to our office.
Mm-hmm.
We have so much more to talk about. We're going to take a short break, and we're going to be right back. If you have a man in your life, you get him on the tube right now. Hello, this is Dr. Bob DeMaria once again with the second part of our half-off health to you. And this evening I have a very special guest, Pastor Richard. We're talking about Dr. Bob's Men's Health, The Basics. We're talking about prostate disease. This is so important because if you had a PSA that's elevated, that doesn't mean you go rushing in and you have them take your prostate gland out. There is a lot of information. I actually read this information in a Men's Health journal about the PSA that I gave you an article of. Mm-hmm. And we'll make sure that that's out there on the internet so you could read this, because there was a gentleman that was a journalist and he went, well, you read the article. It was an interesting article, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
So let's talk a little bit about what's happening here. So you had this elevated PSA, your diet was not as good as it could, you had this epiphany, you came into the office and you went off of sugar?
Off of sugar, off of wheat, off of soy, anything with gluten in it, and basically sugar-free, wheat-free, dairy-free, gluten-free, soy-free diet.
Has it been worth it?
It's been worth it. It's been worth it a lot.
That's good. So let me ask you a couple questions then. Your PSA dropped with that medication that you were taking. So you went off that medication, and then what happened?
Just using the products you've given me.
No. Before you came to see me, how high was your...
Oh, the PSA went up 14 point something. And then the doctor said I needed another biopsy. It had doubled in the summer months, last summer up till the fall of the year. It doubled in the amount. And that really alarmed him. And he said I needed the biopsy. We set up the time for it and everything. that's when I decided to notify you and see what you could do to help me.
So you took the same move the centurion did. You took a move of
Faith.
And your faith has set you
Free.
free.
Amen.
I feel like I'm preaching here right now.
That's good.
But this is such a good point because you made a decision. Now, you know, this is counterculture, you know. People don't like me talking like this because we're talking billions of dollars that we're taking out of the whole thing. But I'm trying to make a lot of really important points here. So you came into our office and your PSA had gone up to 14.
It had gone up to 14. The doctor put me on some antibiotics to see if that would take inflammation out, and it only went down by 2 points. And so he still wanted to do the biopsy. But then I came to you, and now it's down to 10.1.
Wait a minute. It went down to 10.1. So with some nutrition that we determined by doing assessments, including, I'm assuming, the zinc, his PSA level, which is just a test, is down to 10. And I know over time, your PSA level will continue to drop down. By the way, because I don't have all of this in my head, I don't want to make any errors. Are you taking some iodine?
I'm taking iodine every day. In fact, when I first started on the iodine, it was a half of a pill. And I was taking the other pill that you gave me to reduce the estrogen in my body.
Calcium D-glucarate?
Yes, and zinc. I was taking those 3 at first, and I noticed a tremendous difference just the very first week in my bathroom trips. So able to, I don't want to say too much, but able to relieve myself a lot better, a lot easier.
It's okay. This is a reality show. Okay, I got to talk to these people out here that are watching this right now because, see, there's something called calcium D-glucarate. You may have never heard that before, but calcium D-glucarate helps improve phase 2 of detoxification in the liver, which helps get rid of, now this is going to be the first time some of you have ever heard this, toxic estrogen. See, it's all about, Pastor Richard had too much estrogen in his body. Part of it could have been because of the sugar, because there's chemicals everywhere. We put him on the zinc, and you might think to yourself, and we'll talk to you about the shower dechlorinator, why did I put him on iodine for? I personally take 12 milligrams of iodine every day. Iodine is a halide. You have bromine, fluorine, and chlorine. And if you have an accumulation of bromine, fluorine, and chlorine, it's antagonistic to the prostate gland. Now, most of you, including myself and Pastor Richard, probably took a shower in the last 24 or 48 hours in a 4x5 gas, glass chamber. Gas chamber means it's from chlorine gas. So a shower dechlorinator would be very helpful to get the chlorine out of your water so you're not breathing it in, because it's antagonistic to the iodine. Iodine, and I want you to do a search on this term, it's called apoptosis. A-P-O-P-T-O-S-I-S. Apoptosis is a term where the genes in your body are affected by chemicals. I want you to eliminate canned food. I want you to eliminate generic or conventional meat. I want you to eat only organic meat. Were you a big meat eater before, by the way?
I was. I was on another diet before I saw you, though, and I eliminated most of the meat.
Okay.
I would eat chicken and fish.
Okay.
Turkey.
Was it preferably organic?
No.
Okay. So organic is important because, see, they put chemicals in animals today. Now, without beating you all up too much, we live in a very toxic society today. And our livers are all overworked. So what's going on with Pastor Richard, his estrogen level was out of the ballpark. And what was happening to him, his prostate was being impacted by that. This is so huge. You have got to pass this video information on to your friends and families. Now, I'm going to throw out another term, and Pastor Richard, I may have shared this with you, I am not sure. It's called aromatase. Aromatase is an enzyme, are you ready for this, that causes testosterone to go to estrogen. Aromatase inhibitors include broccoli. I eat broccoli every day. There's certain foods I personally eat because I do not want my estrogen to go off the charts because I don't want to have a large prostate gland. I also eat beets every day and apples every day and carrots every day. I was actually munching them in between segments. So we're giving you some basic information to literally change your life. So you've had chiropractic care.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like those adjustments?
I like them well. They helped me with certain problems I had in my shoulder and back before coming to you.
Now, do you understand the reason I'm also adjusting your spine is because these nerves go to your bladder into your prostate region.
Yes.
And that is probably the secret weapon, what separates what we do in our practice and other skilled chiropractors like myself. What separates us from medicine is the fact our secret weapon is this. And you know, it's kind of interesting because everybody in the planet was looking to find out where God is residing. He's such a comedian because Jesus resides inside of us. So our secret weapon, because it talks about this in 1 Corinthians 2:14, we know the secrets. So we're passing on secrets to you right now. I don't care if medicine accepts this or not, but Pastor Richard is happy that his parishioner told him the truth. And another thing that we talked about off camera was dairy products. You used to enjoy dairy products?
Oh, sure. I like milk.
You put your head down.
Cheese
So
and
ice cream.
ice cream.
Oh, ice cream, of course. Did you ever go a week without ice cream?
Well, it was hard.
You're a hoot. So
I like chocolate.
oh, what else do you like? I am just teasing.
Everything.
Everything. Has it been hard?
It's been very hard to stay off the sugar.
Have you passed that hump yet?
I'm there. My wife has found how to make sugar-free cookies for me, gluten-free, wheat-free,
You know, we have those in our office, by the way.
dairy-free.
They're Nana's cookies. So the significance of this is right now is that Pastor Richard had probably high estrogen. His liver was compromised. The challenge with dairy is, I don't know if I ever told you the real challenge with dairy, is the fact that if you want to deviate and use some organic dairy periodically, I'm not giving you permission to do organic ice cream, by the way.
Okay.
Okay. But organic, a conventional dairy or standard dairy products, guess what it has in it? It has chemicals in it. See, our whole meeting and the whole reason I'm so happy that you're here, we live in a very toxic society today. I said that like 3 times already. It's in the water we drink, the air we breathe, and food. You know, this thing that happened in Japan, the tsunami, this is no small deal. Because see, that radiation, I've seen maps, that chemical has impacted our society worldwide. They even showed up some of those radioactive particles in milk products. So that's why you want to be taking your iodine. You're up to 1 a day, right?
1 a day.
That is so awesome. So, you know, we could continue on. Where do you see yourself going with this? You're over the hump, would you say, with your diet changes?
Oh, I'm doing well on the diet now. It's been a little bit difficult for my wife to change things.
Has she lost a little bit of weight since we started this?
She has. She hasn't completely changed over to what I'm eating, but she's watching me.
So being a pastor, have you made any comments from the lectern or the pulpit to your...
I did. I told them not to eat sugar.
What'd they say to you?
They didn't.
Did offerings go down that week?
Attendance went down.
So what you should do is you should probably have some creative thinking and have people create gluten-free desserts